Hi friends, it's Annie Grace and I am answering readers' questions, and today I have a question from Linda. Linda says, Annie, what do you think on alcohol-free wine and beverages? They look like wine in a wine bottle, but they're alcohol-free. I'm not sure if you've talked about this. It's interesting. I think this question comes up a lot, and when it first came up, I was kind of like, that's a strange question, but I think it's pretty prevalent in people wondering like what's okay and what's not okay. And I think for me, how I would answer it is that if you feel that they're fine for you, then I think they're fine for you. And so it really has to be an individual response. And I think that's really important here. And what I mean is this, like for me, once I stopped drinking, I lost a taste for wine. So I haven't tried any alcohol-free wine. And it's not really that I'm opposed to it or anything. It's just that I haven't had any desire or occasion to try it. So I just haven't. There was once over this last summer where I was at a wedding and everybody was ordering a drink or whatever. And my great uncle always is drinking alcohol-free beers. He's not drank beer in 40 years or something crazy like that. And so I joined him and I had an alcohol-free beer. And it was weird because it made me feel really disingenuous to myself. And this was because it looked like a beer, like it was in a beer bottle, and everyone at the wedding, it was my family's wedding. So everybody knew that I no longer drank and that I had in fact written this book about no longer drinking. And so I felt like I needed to have this sign around my neck that said, this beer doesn't have alcohol in it. It's alcohol free. And it left me feeling really uncomfortable. So personally, instead of helping me fit in, it just made me feel awkward and like I wasn't being true to myself. And I needed to explain myself to people. Not to mention that the beer just gave me a ton of bubbles in my stomach, and that didn't feel nice at all. So I felt really uncomfortable in that way. So I switched to a Shirley Temple, and they're sugary, but they're delicious. And I enjoyed the night so much more after that. But that being said, many readers report that alcohol-free drinks really help them. They help them bridge the gap between drinking and not drinking. They help them replace the habit with something that was once, really habitual to be drinking alcohol on a regular basis, and now you're not. How do you replace that habit, especially when you're not really into the sugary drinks? And it gives them some type of satisfaction or relaxation. And I think, that's great. If it's working for you, do what it takes to get yourself healthy and happy about this. Others report it helps a ton with just feeling part of things when they're out at the pub. And if they have a drink in hand, it just kind of takes the pressure off and it takes attention away, from the fact that they're not drinking, which they might not be on, a rebel with a cause sort of thing. They might be just really, trying to fit in and trying to keep it together. And I think that also is a great benefit. I have heard it said that alcohol drinking can somehow lead to temptation and is the first step towards relapsing and drinking again. And interestingly, I've heard this cautioned lots of times. It always seems to be a comment somewhere on some feed about this topic, or it always seems to be said. But I've not heard it from any single individual for their own personal experience. And I talk to tons and tons and tons of people, whether it's via Facebook or comments or emails or videos or, tons of people. And I haven't heard somebody in their own experience say, wow, it was really that alcohol-free beer that led me on a bender and tripped me up and caused me to relapse. So I'm not sure if that's actually true or if it's one of these just sayings that's kind of said and cautions that's thrown out there. And it's this kind of wives' tale, so to speak, that's passed around. So if this is you, let me know, because I am curious if alcohol-free drinks do, in fact, throw someone sort of over the edge into a bender. But to be honest, I really don't know if that's true or not, or if it's just one of those things that's said. It doesn't make as much sense sort of neurologically because the amount of alcohol in these drinks is less than one. It's so tiny that it generally doesn't seem like it would awaken that craving, and it's not going to dehydrate you the same way alcohol does. So it doesn't seem like it would make you really want to drink many of those sorts of beers. But again, I can't tell you if that's true. So you'll have to determine if it's true for you. But I will say that even if an alcohol-free drink doesn't lead you to binge, if it keeps you stuck wishing that there were alcohol in that alcohol-free beer instead of just having the beer without alcohol, then it's probably more trouble than it's worth. Because ultimately, you want to be changing your mindset to where you don't feel like you're pining or you're missing out, but you really start to feel very lucky that you don't have to drink, that you don't have to be hungover, that you don't have to do anything stupid, that you don't have to lose control of your faculties, and that you're really empowered in that. And so if it's keeping you pining for alcohol, even if it's not kind of leading to that bender, I would say that you probably, it's probably just more trouble than it's worth. And so I think like everything else, though, this is a personal journey and you have to discover the truth for yourself. And with everything, it's important for us not to be judging other people, even if they come to a different conclusion than we do. And if for whatever reason their thoughts on this is different than your own, like that's okay. Like we just need more support and more unity around everybody who's trying to do the best that they can in this, and less division. So anyway, that's my answer on alcohol-free wine. And thank you so much, Linda. Great question. Are you coming? Because I want to meet you. I would love to shake your hand. I'd even love to give you a hug. Let's be honest, I'm a hugger. And more than that, I want to blow your mind at this Naked Mind Live 2019. We have a handful of tickets left, and I would like nothing more than to connect those few tickets with my podcast listeners. You can get all the juicy details and grab your ticket at thisnakedmind.com/live. And as always, rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, as it truly helps the message reach somebody who might need to hear it today.